I hope we're going to talk about the dang Wonderswan.
You better believe we're going to talk about the dang Wonderswan.
I've been waiting. I've been waiting for someone who can talk about the Wonderswan. Kelsey, you and I are it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in luck because today I just got the shipping notification that my final game arrived at the store this morning. So
Heck.
I'm done. I have a complete Wonderswan set.
I gotta look at your extras because I know there's stuff that I need that you probably got more of in lots or whatever. So
Yeah, I have a couple rare ones that like it was just like, well, this has a shitty box, but this is the only one I've seen in 2 years, so I guess I'm buying it. And then I eventually got an upgrade.
Let's discuss.
Let's discuss it on the show.
Yeah.
What a crossover episode? This is the 190th installment of Insert Credit, a video game podcast. That's right, I said podcast, where a panel of experts has no choice but to answer every inane question I ask them for 6 minutes each. If they come up with too many interesting things to say about it, they will be punished for going over time by the sound of a horrible buzzer. I'm Alex Jaffe, and the most fun I've recently had around games but not actually playing them was spending 12 hours with my friend Mark in Pennsylvania organizing his game collection.
My name is Frank Cifaldi, and the most fun that I've had with the games but not playing them or whatever Jaffe said, my daily occasional research into obscurity. Let's just leave it there.
Ooh, mysterious.
That is mysterious.
It's not mysterious on purpose. It's just like, I don't want to elaborate. You don't deserve to know.
Yeah, why talk about things on this podcast?
Right.
Yeah, what's the point? It should be all exposition from now on. I'm Brandon Sheffield. My favorite thing to do with video games that wasn't video games. It's hard to remember how to phrase that question, but I know what you're talking about. And I guess the answer is on the Insert Credit forums, we have a last letter game.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I've been enjoying, just because, I got a lot of games over here, just anytime there's a weird letter doing something. I was really biding my time until there was a game with a 7 at the end of it, because then I could play the game 7 as my thing. There's a few, and I like to do, like, when there's a 2, then you can put in Tomb Raider as your next one. It's pretty good. Anyway, enjoying that.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Lewin. And wait, I want to know real quick, what is a weird letter? Because those were all numbers that you just said.
Yeah.
7 is a very weird letter.
Yeah, by weird letter I meant numbers. Those are weird letters. But other weird letters are like
ampersand.
Y, X, Z. Just ones that you don't see all the time.
All right. I feel like Y is a pretty easy one. Anyways, the thing that I've enjoyed the most that's video games, I don't know how to phrase that either, but we were just talking about this before we started recording. I just finished my Wonderswan collection, completely. Like, it's all done. So
congratulations!
Got all the games now. That's pretty cool.
Wonderful.
Kelsey is joining us from our sister show, the Video Game History Hour, for a chance to relieve Frank of the curse of winning every episode.
Thank you.
However, last week's episode was won by Brandon. By the way, I should tell you, Kelsey, that every single week I have a secret rubric that I keep a meticulous score of how well everyone answers each question. The winner of the episode overall gets the honor and distinction of choosing a question or introducing a topic on the next show. This week, that honor/burden falls to Brandon Sheffield.
The prize is homework.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, cool.
In fact, he actually describes it that way sometimes.
Yes.
I had forgotten that I had won, but I thought of a question while you were saying that. So here it goes. What is the best game console that nobody actually plays? Like, people talk about it, they do their cool retro YouTube videos about it, but nobody really is actually playing the games on the console, despite claiming to know everything about it. I feel like there's a lot of good contenders.
Sorry to make you feel old, but the answer is Sega Dreamcast.
It could be, actually. It had such a short window.
Yeah.
Question for Kelsey related to this. How long did you play the Vectrex multi-cart once you finally got it?
Oh, yeah. That's a really good answer, actually. I channel surfed all of them. Like, I played all of them for, I don't know, 30 seconds at least, but there were very few games I played longer than like a few minutes. So, yeah, not a lot.
Everyone thinks it's cool. Everyone thinks Vectrex is cool. Yeah.
It's extremely cool. But it's one of those consoles you like turn on, and that's a bragging rights console for sure.
Yeah.
That's not a console that people are playing.
There are 3 good games on it that I can recall. One is that Spike platformer.
Spike.
The other one is the one that's like, I don't know, Phoenix or something, and is basically Tempest. What game is that? You know what I'm talking about? Whatever game that is, the one that's like Tempest, but you're a bird. That one's good. And then the other one is the one where you can draw on the screen, and it's just an art tool.
Oh, the light pen thing?
Yeah, the light pen.
I've heard is it Star Castle? That one's pretty good.
Oh,
I don't know.
no.
I only played all these for like 5 minutes, so I mean, you could say that about the Atari. Like, I feel like even when people were, it's not popular to collect anymore, but even when it was anyone actually playing it?
But is the Atari the best console that people do that with?
Probably not. It's got a lot of games.
True.
I think all them retro YouTubers think that the Atari's cool, but don't spend time with it, which I think is the question here, right?
Yeah, I guess that's probably better way to view the question, because otherwise we just choose which is the best game console, period. So
I mean, I actually think there's not a lot of people that play the NES that claim to be really big NES fans.
You think so?
I do. I think that they play for a couple minutes and people don't finish NES games anymore.
Oh, that's probably true.
Or if they do play NES games, they're not going back to play them on the NES.
Yeah.
Well, that's just going to be true of any old system, if that's
Right.
I was going to say, I don't know that makes it bad. That's fine.
I actually think it's probably a higher concentration of people who like talk about the NES who will still play the stuff than even like the Dreamcast, which Jaffe brought up.
I think so.
Yeah, Dreamcast has been the gold standard of like the console that should have gotten a lot more attention than it did, but by the very dint of that premise, not a lot of people gave it attention.
I think maybe I'm just assuming that most people that claim to be really into retro games don't actually spend that much time with them, period.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I don't even think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think it's okay to just kind of casually go back and be like, yeah, I still like these games.
Yeah, as long as you're not speaking about it from a place of authority, which like the YouTuber types do. So I'm sort of referencing those people that are like, here's the exclusively I can reveal to you the history of this game I've never played and do not understand the language in which it is presented. I think that sort of to the opposite side, I have a suspicion that the Atari Jaguar, despite not being very cool to talk about, is played by the few people that have it.
Oh, everyone who
Yes.
talks about the Jaguar like played it yesterday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There are no Jaguar posers.
Right.
Why would you even bother?
That's true.
There is no like social like street cred
Yeah.
for liking the Jaguar. No one thinks that makes you cool.
I disagree.
Really?
I think that
Kelsey
any
thinks it makes you cool.
semi-obscure console. Yeah. I think that if you like the Jaguar, you're really cool, and I want to be your friend. No, I think any semi-obscure console, if you just claim to be a huge fan of it. I'm speaking as like the person who's known for being the Wonderswan fan, right? Like people for some reason assume that makes you really cultured or something. If you know how to appreciate the Jaguar, they're like, what am I missing?
But there's nothing good on it. No. No, if you like the Jaguar, the assumption should be that you had a Jaguar. That's really the only assumption that one could make. There is no like, yes, I've explored the Jaguar library for
the
my
hidden
own.
gems.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know,
There's
man. I've
nothing.
met a lot of retro YouTubers, and I think that they enjoy having the weird taste sometimes.
They need content.
Okay, yeah, sure.
The Jaguar the only system that's also the name of a car?
Oh, good question. I bet no. I bet there is an.
I drive a Mega Duck. I mean,
That's right. I'm looking at Casio Loopy, and I feel like there's a non-zero chance there was a car called the Loopy.
Called the Loopy.
Yeah.
Isn't there like a Hyundai Genesis or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. Frank gets the point. He's in the lead.
No!
All right. What would be the best way for, say, a disgraced indie developer exposed for his terrible political practices to announce his retirement from the industry?
So this is, I guess, a reference to
Freddy,
Captain FNAF, Five Nights at Freddy's.
who very bravely has announced that he will stop working and only take profits
Yeah.
because of his political affiliations.
How courageous.
Yeah. So I guess the best way would be to like imagine, Jeff Bezos, he's going to go up into a rocket.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that rocket also explodes. I'm not saying this guy should die, But what I'm saying is, if you're gonna,
What you're saying is he should be devoured by a giant animatronic bear.
that's right. He should go into that mediocre movie Willy's Wonderland,
Okay.
which is basically based on his property anyway, but stars Nicolas Cage and is
Sure.
very disappointing. He should go in there and be like, "Is this what you wanted? Now I'm canceled and they've eaten me." And that's what he could do.
Is he doing like a Christ pose the whole time as the like bears and ostriches pick him apart?
Yeah, something like that. I don't want to joke about people being dead. I don't think
Yeah.
he should be dead or anything. But I don't know if there's a graceful way to do it.
I don't think retiring in general in this scenario can be graceful. It can only be.
Right.
I mean, he's rich.
Yeah, it can only be seen as exactly what Frank said. It's just bravely continuing to profit and just not doing work anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know how to frame that in a nice way.
What a sacrifice. All I will do is keep swimming in my giant pile of Scrooge McDuck style dollars and not making additional things.
He could retire and devote the rest of his profits to the Video Game History Foundation.
There we go.
And that's it. At the end. That's the
Yeah.
redemption
Yeah.
arc.
I would forgive him.
I wouldn't.
Would you take his money if he made you call it Freddy Fazbear's Arcade?
How much money?
To call what?
Yeah, and is that just like the name of our building
Yes.
that we just bought?
That's the whole organization. It's the Freddy Fazbear
The
Arcade.
whole organization?
Well, I don't think we can. It's going to be difficult to position ourselves as a Video Game History Foundation if we can't call ourselves
Well,
that.
hang on. So how much money?
Do we need money ever again?
I don't know how much money this FNAF makes.
Then how do I answer this question, Jaffe?
There's no scenario in which I take his money, is what I have to say about it. Like, there's no way that I would do it unless it's like he doesn't ever get any profit from it. No, even still, I wouldn't want him as an investor in my stuff. I don't think I could do it.
Oh, we wouldn't owe him anything. It would just be a donation to charity. So
Yeah, I don't know. I would.
I mean, there's caveats to that. There's the Randy Pitchford funded National Video Game Museum in Texas, and I'm
Sure.
sure I'm sure that comes up sometimes. But yeah, I don't know if he's just giving us a bunch of money for
It's just money.
building or for I'll take
Whatever.
money.
It makes me extremely uncomfortable. I don't. This is why I'm not rich. If anyone was curious.
That's it. That's the only reason. It's because you won't accept money.
we would just have to rename the company.
Yeah.
We'd have to rename the company, but Video Game History Foundation would be a product under the company, whatever
Okay.
thing is called.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shell company.
Think of it this way, Brennan. Any money you're taking from him is money that's not going to Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, I mean, I have actually thought about that in terms of like,
Who to take money from.
I don't know if I should say this aloud. In terms of like taking money from companies like Google and Microsoft, I do sort of view it as, well, as long as they don't get that money back, it's okay.
As long as this is a failure.
As long as you make a game that doesn't make them any money.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it's a tough one because like you got to think about our next game. I think it will make money. If we take money and then it gives money back to a company that is funding wars, I don't know.
Yeah, but is there such a thing as an ethical investor?
Yeah, sort of, kind of. Okay, there's no ethical consumption under capitalism, etc. I don't think there's a truly ethical investor, but there's a sliding scale, and you can try your best to be on the better side of it, I think. It's tough, though. Tough one. I struggle with it all the time.
My wife and I have, according to Intellivision, invested over $100,000 in the
Oh, that's right.
Intellivision.
Yeah.
Committed to investing.
Like committing to $100,000 and never actually giving them that money because we don't have to, according to their terms. There might be an ethical investor scenario there.
Although, is that ethical if it makes Intellivision look better because they have
Oh,
more
I did
money?
make them look better. That's true. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Something to think about.
Here's our next question. When playing a game with a party of characters, what are the pros and cons of controlling just the main character yourself over the whole team?
Sorry, I was still thinking about Jeff Bezos exploding. What was that?
All right, we just saw that Guardians of the Galaxy preview where you play one guy in a team of guys as a kind of pseudo sequel to the Marvel game where you played all the guys.
How many of us did just see that, to be clear?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about. It's news to me.
Okay, so one of us saw it.
I saw that there was a trailer. I completely zoned
I
out.
saw that too.
The big difference between this and the Marvel Avengers game is that you just play as one character and kind of command all the others around,
Yeah.
as opposed to controlling all of them. What are the pros and cons of such a setup?
I get the question. I just
Yeah.
the Guardians of the Galaxy portion of it is a mystery. But I think that the benefits of controlling one character, I think you can go deeper into certain kinds of systems when you're controlling one character. So then you usually wind up giving the secondary, tertiary characters commands that are more like AI based, or like I will briefly take over what you're doing, or that kind of thing. Whereas when you're controlling a whole team, then you have to make choices for each of them, and it really slows the pace down, and it's a total different kind of experience. Personally, I kind of like either diving deep into one character or having essentially the whole team present itself as one character. So like each member of the team is responsible for a different sort of thing. Like you set this person up to tank, you set this person up to buff, you set this person up to attack, whatever, creating them as a unit together. I think that works pretty well. I don't know, I just started talking.
Well, yeah, I can do a con. I mean, I recently tried playing the first Mass Effect via the Legendary Edition, and the con in the first one is that I don't know why I would command my other guys. They seem to do just fine on their own. So it just
Right.
seemed to be this mechanic that was there for no reason. There's like a very brief tutorial where it's like, you can press this button and bring up the spinny wheel and then select a special move that has a weird name that you don't know what it does. I'm like, I'm never doing this.
Yeah, I don't think I ever played as the other characters in Mass
Yeah.
Effect.
You just shoot stuff.
I think it only works in turn-based games. I mean,
Yeah.
you have the same kind of thing. Like I like the Tales games, and you have the option in most of those games to kind of switch between characters, but it's an action RPG, and like I'm not gonna do that. If I feel like my healer's not healing me enough, I just set them to max heal on their AI or whatever, and then they'll figure it out. I'm not gonna jump back and forth and figure out when people should use their special moves or whatever. That's too much work.
In the Tales games, you drop a lot of bombs on things and throw rings around and stuff, right?
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
Tales Adventure for the Game Gear.
You got there.
Yeah, I did it. It was a little struggle.
Point for Brandon.
But I had to say about this thing that like the pros and cons are very evident in Final Fantasy VII Remake, because back when Tim was on the show, he was talking about how cool it is when you play it on hard and you have to command everybody, and the commands work really well and are an interesting part of the game. Whereas when you play on easy or normal or whatever, they're it feels like a job that you have to do to manage them a little bit, or they're completely ignorable or whatever. And so like the balance of that is quite difficult, because apparently, according to him, it's really fun in hard mode, but on easy, it's really boring and not very fun. So yeah, there's a lot of pros and cons right there. Can you hear my dog? Is he audible?
Very faintly, but people love it. Don't worry about it.
I hope they love it, because he's having a day. If I could command him as a member of my party, I totally would. I would take control and be like, we're not doing barks right now. We're not.
Well, if he took control, then he would just make you bark.
Would he? Or I think he'd make him like feed him or something, right?
Open doors.
He'd make me open doors. Yeah, he would actually. I think Jaffe's right. He would make me open the door so that we can go outside and fight whoever it is that he wants
Got it.
to fight.
Well, then you would go outside while he would cower and tell you to fight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I would be commanded by him. I would be the unit in that case.
Yeah, and once again, in that scenario, why would the dog ever play as himself again? We're back down to one party member.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right, you are more powerful than the dog.
Right.
If my bird commanded me, I think it would just be like to get him walnuts forever. Just continuously feed him walnuts, and that'd be it. That'd be all he uses this game for.
Well, now is the barking like buffing you or debuffing your opponent? So it might actually be a scenario where it's not just controlling you; it's sort of like doing both at the same time.
Yeah, it might be. I think it probably debuffs the opponent a bit, depending on the opponent.
Yeah.
It also debuffs me as well, though, because I find it so annoying.
Splash damage.
In Pokemon, there is an attack called Growl, and it just lowers the defense of the enemy. So I feel like that's what that is, right? It's just lowering the defense of whoever you're facing.
Before I do my splash attack, because that's all I have.
Yeah, I'm going to have to correct you. Growl decreases attack, not defense. Yes.
Oh.
Tail whip.
You're right, tail whip is defense. Do
Sorry
dog
about
whip
that.
his tail around? Just wave it at people?
Sometimes.
But like not in a wagging way, just like, in a threatening way.
Threatening wag. No, he doesn't do that. I do know there's a dog at the park that does that, though. She's a little chihuahua, and she flips around, and when she does so, she sometimes either other dogs or ankles with her tail. So, yeah.
All right, I have good news. You have control over the next song that starts appearing ubiquitously in new game trailers. What song should that be, and how would it inform those games?
A slow, soulful version of that "Yeah, Yeah, Yeah" song by The Offspring.
Oh, like all the 90s.
Oh, it's Crazy Taxicab Confession.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Crazy Taxi's Dashboard Confessional.
Sorry, Frank.
No, that's I don't know. I'm still thinking about that. Like, because you're sort of riffing off the trend of like 90s music, but like down tempo in the trailers, and
Yeah.
I think that's a good one.
Hey now, you're an all-star.
I'm trying to get my brain's replay of that song past the like guitar part. Okay, there it is. Yeah, okay, yeah, I can hear that song. That's slow. Yeah, all right.
I think the answer is Mute City from the F-Zero games, just to get people excited and then disappointed every single time.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I've got a little side tangent about that, which is exactly that scenario. So I went to see Metallica perform live in concert 5-6 years ago, something like that. And, this was a time when, similar to now, they just don't have any good music. All the music that they do is bad.
Esper, put a Metallica song in here right
Back
now
in the
in the
80s.
recording. I'm sure that'll be fine.
Yeah, it should be okay.
My lifestyle determines my death style.
We got the rights.
Yeah.
Because I'm from the Bay Area and so are they, and that means it's legal. Anyway, they were playing, they played some songs from like the mid 90s, but they weren't playing the old stuff, which everybody loves. And they know it. They know that that's what everybody's there to see.
Wait, so they're playing like Hero of the Day and stuff like that?
Yeah, exactly. They were playing that kind of stuff. And so then, like, further into the show, they're like, we got something special for you guys. And then they slowly start playing Metal Militia from their first album. And everyone's like going nuts. And then they stop playing it and laugh into the microphone and then play a brand new song that nobody likes.
Oh,
from their new
screw
album.
you.
It was like, son of a bitch. It was such a bait and switch because I was like, this is what I came to see. Thank you. And then they were like, lol, here's something you don't know and don't like.
So that's what you would use to promote like the new Bubsy game.
Yes. Metallica stopping playing a song that you like and starting playing a song that you don't. And then Bubsy's like, what could possibly go wrong? Right in the middle.
I'm just so fascinated by a band that is that purposefully antagonistic to like the last people paying their bills.
Right.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing. I mean, they can still fill an arena though, like on the hope that maybe they'll play Enter Sandman.
Is there a point where people learn?
Here was another thing about that. As soon as they started playing this new song, all of these guys wearing like polo shirts and slacks that had been looking really uncomfortable the whole time started like nodding their heads and being like, yeah, this is what we came to see. So like all the people dressed in black leather with Exodus shirts and whatever were disappointed. But the people that hadn't belonged to the whole time were like, oh yeah, cool, I know this one. So I think, I don't know, they must be getting some new fans on yachts or something somewhere.
I think Metallica plays video games.
Does Metallica play video games?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think that maybe at one time, but not anymore.
Maybe they played that GameCube game once, the Metallica game that didn't come out.
I was going to ask, I thought there was a Metallica game or a game with Metallica music. Or
it was like
something
a racing game that had Metallica music, and it was called Metallica, I believe.
There was a rock band Metallica. No, am I making that up?
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Was
there's a Guitar Hero or rock band Metallica.
Yeah, it's rock band Metallica. So that exists. They probably played it once.
I mean, would you though? Would you go pretend to be the band that you already are in a video game?
I mean, I'd want to confirm that they hadn't messed up my stuff too bad, but maybe they had an intern do it.
What I suspect is that like someone handed them a controller once and they pressed a couple buttons. That's what I mean by they played the game and they got confused, and then they went, "Cool game, good job." That's what I'm Metallica. That's what I sound like.
Whose voice is that?
That's James Metallica.
I didn't know Strong Bad joined Metallica.
I think we should acquire the trademark to Napster. It's probably not being used, and create a peer-to-peer client that only does Metallica songs.
Only Metallica.
Yeah, absolutely.
Metallica used to come into the Casper's hot dog shop down the street from where Frank and I live.
The one closer to us or further from us?
Further, the original,
Yeah.
in the triangle-shaped building.
Yeah.
They used to come in there, and the guy, the owner of the place, who's a friend of the family, said that they were good kids, and he always gave them a discount. There you go. That's a Metallica story that is not very interesting. But
That's like the only time I've ever thought of them as people.
So the
Was
song
just
we're
right
putting
now.
into all the video game trailers are bad new Metallica songs
Yeah.
without their permission.
Yeah.
I like that.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
And then
that's
you
the one
go,
I'm going for.
that's the only part of that song that I can remember.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what happens after that.
Yeah,
No.
that's it.
It's like when I was stuck on the Offspring song, except this time I can't get past that part.
I like to sing it like Barney. Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
We should bring some Barney songs back. Like
Oh yeah.
clean up, everybody everywhere. That's what I'm talking about. Let's get that in these trailers.
But Metallica eyes that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Metallica covers Barney.
So we Barney eyes the Metallica songs and Metallica eyes.
Question number 5. When in a video game does it feel like
What?
Guys, I'm sorry. The question I was about to ask is canceled.
Oh.
I've just been informed that it's time for an improv zone.
No.
Oh no.
Sorry, it's out of my hands.
No. I see what you're doing.
Yeah, the improv zone is a segment where the three of you, and not me, have to improvise a scene together based on a premise that I have devised
So we're the squad that you're commanding.
until I sound a buzzer. But the people have spoken, and here it is. Kelsey, you are leading a tour through the Video Game History Museum. Frank, you're the member of the tour group who thinks he knows more than the guide. Brandon, you're the member of the tour group who keeps asking extremely stupid questions. This is the improv zone. Go.
No pressure.
First up in our exhibit over here, we've got the beginnings of a really important company. This is the beginnings of Nintendo. They were founded in 1889.
Is Mario here?
Oh yeah, so Nintendo, right? That was actually the first company to do an arcade game. Turns out.
So we'll get there. That's not quite true, but this is before the concept of arcades is really a thing. We're still in the 1800s here. So
Well,
we're talking
Miyamoto-san was really inspired by installation pieces, and he thought they could do video games on like a cabinet.
That's fascinating. Our
Cabinet like with drawers in it? Like where I put
different kind of cabinet. Sorry,
where I put my boxers?
I see where the confusion is, but actually, that's where they got the name. A little bit of trivia.
Oh.
So does anyone know where Nintendo got their name? Speaking of which,
Yes, it means to be the best in katakana.
that's very close. The name of Nintendo is actually a kind of a contested thing. It roughly translates to let's see. Oh gosh, I don't even know my Japanese. One of them means.
Did Nintendo make the PlayStation?
Actually, yes, they did, but it was canceled in 1992. It was the first device to ever have a CD drive.
Let's
Wow.
move on to one of Nintendo's first really successful products here in the toy area. This one here is called the Ultra Hand. This was designed by a fellow by the name of Gunpei Yokoi. And
oh yes, of course, Gunpei Yokoi, who started life as a janitor actually at Nintendo.
he was an electrical engineer. Actually, he was kind of sort of a maintenance man on
How
the
do
floor.
you engineer electricity?
Very carefully.
Okay. I'm taking notes just to be sure that I get, because I really
I could talk to you after.
I really want to be in the video game industry later eventually. So, this is why I'm asking these questions, because I really feel that I have a lot of good ideas, and
Oh yeah, me too.
it's gonna get me really far. And so, that I just to explain, that's why I'm asking these questions. Okay, keep going. I'm learning a lot.
Now, does anyone know what the name of the first video game console that Nintendo put out was?
That would be the Famicom computer.
Jesus.
Can someone please stop this? This is terrible.
Buzzer noise, buzzer noise, buzzer noise. All right. Great job, everybody.
Unfortunately, I think Frank won points on that one.
Yeah.
That was I set him up for a couple of those, but
Yeah.
he delivered beautifully.
Kelsey, terrific straight personing there. I'm giving you the
Oh,
point for
God.
that one.
It's so difficult because this is I run into people like
This is
Frank
your job.
here
Yeah.
daily. And so
I
it's
know.
actually difficult for me to figure out how to respond in like a comedy scenario because my actual thing is I don't actually correct anyone ever because what does that do? What's the point, right?
Then they'll learn and be better people.
No, that's very sweet and naive, but that's not how that works.
Yeah, they just want to debate. They want to get into it and have a big conversation.
All right. Well, we're going to do a little bit of our own debating and be right back after a short break. Kelsey, I'm sorry I made you endure that, but the people have demanded a new improv zone.
That was yeah, I don't know how good I am at improv, but particularly, I mean, that is.
Oh no, we're all terrible at it. It's never good.
That was they were pretty good. Frank and Brandon were both very good, actually.
Well, the whole thing was terrible, but also I think like by far the best one we've ever done. So
Yeah. Welcome back to the Insert Credit Show. Time for us to go to the Dirtbag, an area we return to every week, where Patreon subscribers at patreon.com/insertcredit use the provided form to submit their own questions, one of which is read on this very show. You can go to patreon.com/insertcredit yourself, donate at any level in order to get access to that form, access to the episodes themselves 1 day early,
1 day early.
1 day early, and even exclusive periodical bonus content. This question comes from an anonymous listener who asks, what is the best callback joke in video games?
Oh boy, gotta rack the brain on this one.
I mean, the best one's going to be the first one I think of in like 5 minutes.
Right.
Well, the fact that you can remember it at all makes strong case
Well,
for it.
I don't know that I can.
Yeah. I can think of so many callback things. You know, I mean, just a recent
Let's start there.
Yeah, I mean, a recent example is just like I was playing the new Pokemon Snap, and I feel like they could have made that whole game a callback, and they didn't, and I'm thankful for that. But they had several things where it's like, oh, in the other Pokemon Snap, there was also this group of Charmanders that you have to kind of lure all together, and then they dance, and it's just, it's a nice like, oh yeah, that one's from the other game, that's cool. But I think that only works because there's been so many years in between those two games.
I appreciate the name of that game because a lot of the Pokemon are sleeping. So Pokemon Snap is actually a pretty accurate
Yeah,
description of it.
very nice.
Yeah, thanks.
I see what you did.
That's what I did.
All right, give us some kind of TurboGrafx answer. I don't know. Doesn't
You know-
Arizona fly over Bonk or something?
I mean, there's definitely some dumb stuff with the working designs games. I don't think any of them could be counted as the best. And I guess maybe it's more references and stuff, but it's not even a callback. I think the problem is everything I can think of, like, for example, Sonic being in Crusader of Senti. It's not a callback, it's just a reference. I know there are callbacks, but I can't. I'm sure there's got to be like 5 million in the Metal Gear series that I have basically.
Oh,
never
yeah.
interacted
I mean,
with.
the first one I
Right.
thought of was in Metal Gear Solid 4. He takes a nap and he dreams of the first game that you play, but it's like whatever.
Oh, right.
Right.
That one's cool.
I don't know if this is a callback, but what comes to mind for me, I was just going, like, I told Brandon to go through TurboGrafx stuff, so I'm like, I don't know, adventure games for me. In Maniac Mansion, you can find a chainsaw, and if you try to use it, it's like, well, I need gas to do this, and there's no gas in the game anywhere, so it's just a useless object. And then in the next game they did, Zach McCracken and the Alien Mindbenders, you can find some gas that has no purpose at all in the game.
Do they reference a chainsaw? Do they do like, oh man, this would be perfect in a chainsaw?
I don't remember. They probably did. So that's kind of a callback. But then an actual callback would be in Thimbleweed Park, however many decades later. You can finally find both a chainsaw and gas and cut a tree down.
Playing the long game.
God, there's so much about that game that I know I'm missing because I haven't played every old LucasArts adventure game.
I can think of a bad one.
You could think of a bad callback.
Yeah, it at the end of Super Mario Brothers 3, you save the princess, and she says, "Thank you, Mario, but our princess is in another castle." Ha ha ha! Just kidding.
I thought it was pretty good.
All right.
I don't think it's a bad one.
Anytime it's just like a line of dialogue callback, I think it's only ever cute. It's just
Right.
like, oh, all right.
The thing we said.
Yeah, I can only think of depressing ones from Near Automata right now. A lot of depressing callbacks in
Yeah, there was a callback in that game that made me cry, but I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, a lot of depressing Emil callbacks specifically.
Oh man, yeah, I don't want to discuss that.
One that's amusing to me, but it's not actually funny, is specifically from Nier, is I have spent 3 hours, maybe 4, saving and reloading to try to get a freaking eagle egg in this one area.
Yeah,
Goddamn eagle
the
eggs, which
airy.
you need to upgrade stuff. Like literally 4 hours, which is not fun to do.
Dude,
It's not,
just go through the third door in the diary. You can farm eagle eggs there.
Yeah, okay, I went through that 10 times and got 0 eagle eggs.
Really?
So, yes, really. So
Oh, well, excuse me for not being sympathetic, Mr. Got the lunar tears on your first try.
all my luck ran out in the flower zone. But anyway,
Boy, that game sounds fun.
it's so fun.
It's literally my favorite game.
In Near Automata, someone was just sharing a photo of them having like 23 eagle eggs. They made eagle eggs plentiful in Automata, kind of jerky callback in a way, which was to me a little bit funny.
Yeah.
I did get 1 eagle egg, god darn it, in Nier.
I mean, kind of similarly, it's funny how in Nier they have these like incredibly tedious achievements, but in Nier Automata there's literally like a shop where you can just buy them all.
Yeah.
You can buy the achievements?
Yes, you can buy the achievement.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
I can't really think of any other than just cameos off the top of my head, but the Grand Theft Auto series is just like, it's all callbacks. There's so many
Yeah.
callbacks in that.
Mm-hmm.
But the only ones that I can come up with off the top of my head are just like, remember this character? They're here too, you know?
Patrick's back.
I'm guessing every Kickstarter game that is a spiritual successor has callbacks to the thing
Yeah.
that it's not actually a sequel to.
Oh, yeah.
But there's some
Yeah,
real clever
probably.
ones in like Mighty Number 9.
Which video game went through the most interesting development cycle?
I'm gonna go with Animal Crossing. 'Cause
Really?
That game started as basically animal assisted Diablo, like a Diablo clone, but with animals. It was meant to be, well, I think a lot of people know it was meant to be a 64 DD game at first. And they wanted a game about communication, but they were like, I don't know, communication, that's not a game. We need a game around it. People communicate a lot in Diablo. You die, you drop your stuff. You got to talk to people and be like, hey, come help me pick up my stuff or whatever. So they started by making this game that was all about playing at different times of day to get different animal companions to join you to, kick some monster butt or whatever and get some treasure. Ended up being a little bit of a different game than that.
Well, it's almost like the loot drops are just, you don't have to fight for them. They just, they're in the trash or whatever.
Oh, you gotta do chores for them sometimes.
Sure.
I'm interested in the development of Resident Evil 4 because it was famously abandoned and restarted, basically. And it's rare that a game that does that turns out to be really, really good. As far as I have seen, a lot of the time something gets abandoned and restarted, and then the final product is like fine. Like they wound up having to make different concessions that they weren't thinking about, and they ran out of time, etc. It just didn't turn out to be what they really wanted. But Resident Evil 4 did, and so I'm curious about that. And there's also like some series development that I find really fascinating. Like for example, Shadow Squadron is a game that came out on the 32X by Sims. Yeah, it was called Stellar Assault in Japan. And then they made a new Stellar Assault on the Saturn toward the end of its life cycle. And both of them are pretty good games developed at the end of the life of a Sega console that wasn't doing well. How does that come to pass? How do you wind up getting stuck in that zone, but still like doing your best and making something that's actually pretty good on the platform? I don't know. Were they dedicated to it? Did they really want to make this game, or did Sega commission it from them and they just had to see it through? I don't know why that kind of stuff fascinates me so much, but I consume brain cycles imagining what that would be like for no good reason.
So wait, what you're imagining is if you know that your game is not going to sell well, or you know that people aren't going to really play the game, like how do you still make a good game out of that scenario?
It's kind of that, and it's kind of like, how do you wind up there? I guess I think about it because, you know, we've been in somewhat similar scenarios where we're like, we released a game at the end of the PlayStation Mobile's lifespan, and we had the last game on the Vita PlayStation Plus as well. The games that we did that with, you can feel that they're a bit rushed at some point or another. Like some point of it got stretched. Whereas with these two Stellar Assault games, especially the Saturn one, which came out in 1998, I think it was so late. It's just like a really good, solid game. There's all it. It has a really neat visual style. All the attacks have specific like particle effects where there's just like individual pixels flying off and stuff. You know that, especially in retail, you're not going to make that money back. So you know what is the scenario behind that, and how do you wind up putting so much into it when it's clear that you know you're not gonna make that much money? So I just think about it.
So Kelsey talking about Animal Crossing got me thinking about Nintendo, got me thinking about a keynote that Miyamoto gave at GDC, where he sort of showed the evolution of an idea and how it just stuck around until it found a product. And in this case, I think technically it was the Me concept itself. So he showed, you know, that like on the disk system, sort of a face maker that went nowhere, and then that sort of stuck around for a while. They tried to do like you know, put yourself in a music video sort of thing on the GameCube that didn't go anywhere. And then, you know, I think mostly it kind of came out as Wii Music, which I still think was a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
That just didn't find its audience. I think they could do that now, and now that people can like tweet stuff, it made me think of that, and it makes me wonder if there's other Nintendo ideas that have just like been recycled over and over that became something that we like I don't know. It's like, did Pikmin start as ideas on the NES or something?
Yeah. I think that's part of maybe what has me fascinated by some of these things I'm thinking about. It's like the idea of, or rather an idea or a mechanic in search of a platform. Like that guy who did Psycho Fox and then did like 4 more games that are basically just like that.
Yeah, the like swinging on the bounty tree genre.
Yeah, which became like Decap Attack and the Magical Hat Adventure or whatever. And then there's also the person who really liked that specific mechanic in Legendary Axe, which is also there's a game on the NES called like Atarax or something. I forget what it's called. You know what I'm talking about, Frank? It's the Legendary Axe style game on NES.
Astyanax?
Yeah, there you go.
I've always wondered how to pronounce that.
I have a VHS from Jalico that it pronounces it, so it's Astyanax.
Nice.
Thank you.
It's really interesting when there's someone who's like, yeah, okay, I got this mechanic in my back pocket. We need to make a game real quick. I'm making this one. I love that stuff. And those games aren't related, which rules.
It's time for our next segment. This is something I tried out on the last episode and got some positive reception, so we're trying it again. It's a sort of reverse family feud, which I'm tentatively calling Famicom Feud. Your goal here is to talk about the best Wonderswan games. However, I have here a list of the top 15 Wonderswan games from the fan site Swan of Wonders, and you can't say any of the games that are on that list.
Okay, this is automatically going to be very difficult because my guess is the top 15 are all English-friendly ones because this comes from an English-speaking website. Am I correct in that assumption?
I'm not going to tip you off.
I think she means about the English website.
So I'm saying that this isn't fair. This isn't a fair way to look at the Wonderswan library because I guarantee that there are at least 5 or 6 RPGs on this system that are fantastic that I don't know if they're fantastic or not because I don't speak Japanese.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
Let's start naming them. I can definitely envision the games that are on this list. So
Me too.
You want to do it the opposite way and try to figure out which games are on it?
I bet Brandon and I will kill this.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do this. All right, let's do this real Family Feud style. Cue the music.
But I also want to talk about the cool weird ones, so maybe we can do that later.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, let's do it.
okay, I'm 90% sure Makaimura is on here.
Show me Makaimura. Makaimura for Wonderswan is number 6.
All right, I'm gonna go. I think I'm shooting higher than this. Klonoa.
Show me Klonoa. Klonoa Moonlight Museum is number 7.
Oh, Mega Man WS.
Show me Mega Man WS. I'm sorry, Mega Man WS is not on the list.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, it was Rockman EXE.
EXE?
Yeah, Rockman EXEWS. Nope. Honorable mention did not make the list.
Got it.
Okay. My guess is Judgment Silver Sword, and I think it's top 3.
Gotta be.
Show me Judgment Silver Sword. That's number 3 exactly.
Nice. That's very good. So here's a question. Kelsey, do you think they're going to put the English language Digimon on there or not?
Good question.
I'm going to try it. Let's see. Let's see if there is. Show me the English Digimon, which I forget exactly which.
Show me Digimon. Nope, no Digimon.
It's not there.
Something like that. Gunpei. Gunpei's got to be up there.
Yeah.
Which Gunpei?
It's probably EX.
I guess I'll do EX.
Gunpei. Show me Gunpei. Gunpei EX is not on the list.
Okay. Regular Gunpei. Kari no Panda Gunpei.
Also not on the list.
No
Kari Panda
Gunpeis?
Gunpei?
No.
Is that the only... No Gunpei at all?
No Gunpei.
What the heck are they doing?
Weird. Okay.
This is an interesting list.
Is it too simple for them or something? That's...
Look, this is a Wonderswan fan site. They get deep
Okay,
into it.
Since this is a Wonderswan fan site, I'm going to say maybe they do have an RPG on here, and maybe it's Riviera.
Show me Riviera, a game I had on Game Boy Advance. Nope, that is an honorable mention.
Who are these people?
I would do Blue Wing Blitz over Riviera because that's
Also an
one
honorable
exclusive.
mention.
Okay. That one's exclusive, so...
Yeah.
All right, so far you've got 3 out of the 15.
Oh, dang. We're doing bad.
No, we can do... I've got so many more. Flash Koibito-kun.
Really?
Flash Koibito-kun is number 1.
Number
What?
1?
Yeah.
I love that game, but number 1?
What is this website?
Swanofwonders.weebly.com.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Clock Tower?
Show me Clock Tower. Nope.
It'd be on there.
All right. Ngacho.
Ngacho is number 2.
Really?
Wow. All right. This is a different kind of a
They have
website.
interesting taste. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I like all of those
Look,
games.
anyone who is really into the Wonderswan has interesting taste.
Maybe.
Thank you.
That's what they say on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to say Hataraku Chocobo.
Let's
Or
check out
Chocobo Mystery Dungeon is there instead?
Nope. Honorable mention.
Okay.
Golden Axe?
Golden Axe. Show me Golden Axe. Honorable mention.
Mm-hmm. Dang. I mean, I guess considering the nature of the site, they probably put Dicing Night on there. Dicing
Yeah,
Night's got to
that's
be
gotta
top
be up there.
top 5.
Honorable
also.
mention.
What?
Okay.
Okay.
I hope they didn't put Run Dim up there.
They shouldn't have, but it could
Yeah.
be.
Undim?
It's like Run equals Dim.
Run equals dim.
Let me check. Show me Run equals dim. Nope, not on there.
Okay. All right, cool. I assumed like, oh, it's a shooter, so maybe they're just automatically like all shmups belong on this list.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How about the Ninja Jajamara-kun game?
Show me Ninja Jajimara-kun. No, that's not on there.
Wow. All right. This is weirder list than I thought it would be.
Yeah. What about Namco Wars?
Yeah, like are some of the Final Fantasies on there or something?
Final Fantasies are all in the honorable mentions. What's interesting is you haven't mentioned the game that was on the other like 5 Wonderswan lists I checked, like the most obvious number 1.
Interesting. Oh, I bet Guilty Gear Petite is on there.
Let me check. Show me Guilty Gear Petite. Nope. Honorable mention.
Son of a heck.
The most obvious one. We're missing the most obvious one?
Are we?
It's not like Tetris or something, is it?
No, it's not Tetris.
Okay. Buffer's Evolution?
Buffer's Evolution is number 13.
Oh, wow.
All right.
How obvious is Buffer's Evolution, though, to anybody?
It's semi-obvious to Wonderswan fans, I feel like.
Sure, I suppose.
I don't know.
All 6 of us?
One Piece Coliseum.
One Piece
Oh, yeah.
Coliseum is on the list.
Okay.
One Piece Grand Battle Swan Coliseum is number 4.
Okay.
So now you have the top 4 games.
I wonder if that means they would also put Digimon Tamer's Battle Spirit on there.
No Digimon.
Oh, right. Why wouldn't they want Battle Spirit if they got that one piece?
I'm just curious, like, because there's a lot of things that feel obvious for me to recommend to people if they just need English-friendly games, but they're definitely not the best versions of those games. You know, things like Puzzle Bobble and
Yeah.
Load Runner and Crazy Climber and that sort of thing. Like,
Those are not.
Rockman versus Bass, we didn't say.
No, that's not on the list either. None of those games are.
That's weird.
Okay, you're out of time, so I'm giving you 3 more guesses collectively.
oh, my favorite game, Rhyme Rider Kurikon.
All right, let's check. Show me
I like
Rhyme
that.
Rider Kurikon.
Should be on there.
That's number 12.
Okay, that's way too low, but that's at least it's on there.
I wouldn't be surprised if they had Mr. Driller.
Mr. Driller is the super obvious one you weren't saying until now.
Okay.
That was number 8.
All right.
Okay.
But it's on like everything.
on
I mean, I
everything,
like
yeah,
that. I like that version of it, but I don't go like, ooh, the Wonderswan game when I think of Mr. Driller, you know?
Yeah, same.
Maybe that's a thing you should be thinking about because people are simps.
People are simps.
Maybe we should be thinking about that.
Was that a hint?
No, you still have 3 guesses.
It actually was, yes. I'm looking at it. I got this list right here.
The People are simps. What is that? What could this mean?
Oh, that wasn't a hint. The hint was to think
Oh.
about things that are on everything.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Longress or Millennium.
Show me Long Risser. Nope, that's not in there.
Space Invaders?
Show me Space Invader. Nope, you got one more guess.
Maybe my hint was bad. I'm sorry.
Okay. Beatmania?
Show me Beatmania. No, that's an honorable mention.
I'm sorry. Give Brandon one more. I stole that.
Brandon, you get one more.
Rainbow Islands.
Rainbow Islands. Show me Rainbow Islands. Rainbow Islands Putty's Party was number 11.
There we go.
Okay.
Picked up on the hint there.
That is not better than Rhyme Rider Harry Con. That is messed up.
Time to tell you the ones. Frank, you want to? I'm gonna say the numbers, and you're gonna read it off. The ones they missed. Number 15.
One Piece Chopper, no Daiboken.
Wow, really? Okay.
Number 14.
Alright.
Psy Little.
Psy Little.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, Psy Little, the dice game.
Again, on everything.
Number 10.
Wonder Classic.
Wow,
A
really?
golf game?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's like a paragraph for each of these games, and then you get to number 10, and it's like, what a wonderful golf game. That's all it
Yeah,
says.
good.
Number 9.
Tanewo Makutori.
That is one of my favorite
Oh, I
games.
love that
and
game.
That was going to be my first guess for what was going to not be on the list.
Yeah, actually, same. That was actually the one I was going to go for. That's funny.
And the highest one they missed, number 5.
Front Mission by Squaresoft.
Of course.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you didn't put the Final Fantasies on there, but you put on Front Mission.
Yeah, why that?
Look, you got 10 out of the 15. I'm gonna call that a success.
All right.
I feel a little slighted by this list.
Yeah,
I feel like this list was put together by one person.
definitely one person.
It did feel like the least put together by committee list of all the lists I went through.
Yeah.
So I thought that would be the most interesting one to reference.
I think you were right, because it was.
I think, yeah, absolutely. This was not a collaborative list by any means.
No. I'm going to skip question 9 because we went super long on that one. What is the Oxford comma of video games?
The
Whether or not video
games,
game
yeah.
has a space.
Yes, that's
James.
it. All right.
That's it.
That's
You're
it.
right. That's it.
We can get question number 9 back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
question number 9 back. How do you really appraise hard to find retro video game ephemera?
Appraise? And as
Yeah.
in
How do you
Like
figure out how
value.
much it's worth?
Yeah, that's really tough. So I had a weird experience recently where late at night I was feeling a little loopy for really no reason. I think other than I had gotten up early and now it was late, and I decided to purchase, I think, the first movie that Donnie Yen starred in on DVD. It was Mismatched Couples. And Donnie Yen is like a breakdancer, and he does when you watch the intro to this movie, you'll be like, oh yeah, I want to watch this. It's not streaming. It's not on YouTube. It's just not a movie you can watch, and it's from the 80s. And there's like one good DVD of it made by Fortune Star. And I looked it up on eBay. The last 2 completed auctions. One was someone put it up for bid, and it got 10 bids, and it was $52. And then there was another one, which was a buy it now, which was $2,300. And it's the same DVD. And in the currently purchasable options, there was one buy it now for $58 and one buy it now for $3,300. And
I think people manipulate
Bizarre.
eBay a lot more than people realize. Like I'm willing to bet that $2,300 one is someone who's trying to make their small stash of copies of that movie worth something.
right.
Because if you can easily corner any market that has very little supply, right? You just
Yeah.
have to kind of prove it enough times.
Yep. That's one of the things that makes it so difficult to appraise these, because sometimes there's just no precedent, or the one precedent it barely counts because it's like, does any single other person want this? You know, I did wind up buying that $58 DVD because I was in a weird headspace at that time. But sometimes I'll have a game and I'll be like, I wonder if I should get rid of this, and I'll look up how much it's worth, and it is impossible to know because it hasn't been sold in the last year.
Well, and eBay recently kind of nerfed how often or how far back they go to show you its history. So it used to go back at least a couple years pretty easily. And now I've noticed that if something hasn't sold in the last couple of months, sometimes it just doesn't show you anything at all.
Oh, and I guess directly related to this, there's a place in San Jose called Streetlight Records, and they have a video game buyer there. Shout out to Brittany for sometimes letting me know when cool stuff comes in. And she had a bunch of stuff come in, which was Wonderswan games and GP32 games. And she was like, I cannot tell if these are actually worth money to people, or if there aren't very many of them, or if anybody would actually want them. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's worth money to like the 100 people that are trying to collect a GP32 collection. But like, who are those people?
Right.
There aren't very many of them. So I wound up just picking them all up myself because I'm that person. But she was like, be honest with me, could I have gotten more if we had listed these on eBay? And I was like, probably across like a couple years. But I don't think, or maybe there would have just been someone who's like, I'm going to sweep these all up right now. But it's such a niche thing that like, who really needs a GP32 game in a box? Who's collecting for that?
Well, I just bought one, so me now.
We should trade some of your Wonderswan games for some of my GP32 extras.
All right, deal.
Because I have multiple doubles. So here we go, making it happen.
Brandon, last week you set up your own comic. Now you're setting up this video game trade. Is this podcast your personal Craigslist?
Yes, the bot that records our show is called
It's
Craig.
named Craig. Yes.
Yeah, what you're saying with there sometimes only being 100 people who want something, like you almost have to, in order to accurately appraise something, you almost have to know who those 100 people are and like know their situation. So
yeah,
there is a guy in one of the Wonderswan groups I'm in who is trying to sell a couple of extremely rare systems. One's the Famitsu Camouflage Edition Wonderswan, and it's very cool. There's only a couple of them. It's worth a lot of money, but he's trying to sell it for, I can't remember, but whatever it was like a fair price of like $900 or something like that. I am not currently in the market to buy one of those. Therefore, it's not selling because there's just not someone who's buying high-end Wonderswan stuff right now, at least in the English-speaking world. So he's just sort of had it for a while and been hanging on to it. I don't think that means it's worth less than the $900 he wants to sell it for, but it does mean that he sort of has to wait for one of us to come along that's willing to drop that kind of money on it.
And another thing that's weird about that is, okay, I'm not in these Wonderswan lists, but I am, I'm not going to buy a $900 Wonderswan. However, I'm the target market. I don't know where to be looking specifically for Wonderswan stuff because I'm just not. It's probably like a Facebook list or something, and I don't use Facebook.
It's time to go into our lightning round. For this week's game, I collaborated with friend of the show Ash Parrish, and today we are participating in the Discourse. I'm going to name a video game character, and you're going to tell me whether or not they eat it. If your answers match Ash's, you get the point.
Oh man! So we have to predict Ash as well. Okay.
Yes.
This is good.
Here we go. Your first video game character is Banjo of Banjo-Kazooie.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. He is
Absolutely.
kind. Yes.
Yeah, he might be a little inexperienced, but
Scorpion
from Mortal Kombat?
Yes.
No, he has no tongue.
really?
Brendan?
Oh, I have to weigh in. I also agree that no to Scorpion.
Scorpion is yes. He gets there somehow.
How?
All right.
He figures it out.
Okay.
Next is Leon Kennedy.
Leon Kennedy doesn't even know where any of that stuff is, so no.
Yeah. He actually goes like, huh? When presented with the option. Yeah.
Kelsey?
I feel like he would try.
You all get the point. The answer is no or yes, but poorly.
Yeah, I don't think it would be. I don't think there's any experience there. I don't think there's any.
He's not opposed to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Liara Testoni of Mass Effect.
Which one's that?
I didn't get
I
that
don't
far.
know who that is.
Yeah.
The blue alien.
From the first game?
Yeah.
From all three games, but mostly the first game.
Yeah,
The blue one does.
absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Correct. Ash said, of course.
Yeah.
Next, Lester the Unlikely.
I think it's unlikely.
Well, okay. So I think it's unlikely he would have the scenario, so I don't know how to answer the question. Like, he wouldn't be in that situation.
It does not seem
But in the unlikely scenario that he's in that scenario.
right. Thank you.
I think he would do it, but he'd be terrified.
Ash said, my gut says maybe.
I think that's my answer. Yeah.
All right. I think Frank gets the point for that.
Yeah.
Our next one is Captain Falcon.
Yeah. Yes. Actually.
He does, and he brags about it.
I'm gonna.
No. Have you watched the anime?
No.
No.
Yeah. He's a good. I think yes.
I feel like no because I think he's just too into himself.
I think yes, because I think Ash watched the anime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ash's answer is, oh my god, yes.
Okay.
In all caps.
Watch the
Next
end.
is Ayla the Huntress, your first companion in Skyrim.
I don't know who that is. I don't
Sure,
know.
why not?
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, why not?
Yes.
Correct. She is sworn to carry your burdens.
Oh, but she think it's a burden? I don't want that.
Monokuma, the Danganronpa bear.
Yes, but you don't want that to happen.
I'm with Brandon.
Yeah, I think that's how I'm leaning too.
No, Ash said in all caps, does not fuck.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Shenmue.
There's not a person named Shenmue.
It's James Shenmue.
Yes, Jimmy Shenmue.
Mr. Shenmue.
Mr. Shenmue.
Oh.
I think that Ryo Hazuki.
Yeah, Ryo Hazuki.
I think it's a no for Rio.
Absolutely no.
I think it's a no. He's busy with capsule machines and.
I don't think it's because he's like a bad person or like
No.
opposed
I
to it.
think if
he's
you
just
asked
never.
him to, he would be like, huh? Oh, like that. But like, but he wouldn't think of it himself.
Yes.
Tell me about a birthday.
Yeah, there's no scenario in which he would come up with that.
Yeah.
I agree.
Correct. Shenmue. Mr. Shenmue does not.
Captain
And
Shenmue.
Finally, Solid Snake.
I hope Ash was the one who was like Shenmue. His name is Shenmue. I'm calling him Shenmue.
Solid Snake is a no from me. I don't think he does.
Liquid Snake, on the other hand.
Oh yeah.
I don't know who that is, but based on the names, it makes.
That's the Cam Clark character from the first one.
I don't know who that is either.
Oh, the guy who voiced like Leonardo and
Oh.
like Deflator Mouse. You know that guy.
Yeah. Okay. I got it.
That guy's a freak.
Yeah.
Have you heard? He has an album. That guy's a freak.
A super free.
No, he doesn't cover
Just
that
the
one.
regular type.
He covers in similar songs.
This is I don't know why this is the hardest one for me.
It is the hardest
Like
one.
for whatever reason, my heart can't lean either direction like at all. Like I'm frozen on this one.
Well, you want me to explain mine?
Yeah, I do actually. Yes.
He is only a soldier. He does not love.
Okay. All right. I guess I'll follow your answer, but I don't feel good about it.
Okay, the correct answer was Solid Snake doesn't, but only because he's gay.
All right.
Gay for war.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm tallying the points up here, and Frank is our winner,
Yeah, I knew
which
it.
means Kelsey is our winner. Congratulations, Kelsey.
Nice.
Wait, what? How does that work?
That's why you were on the show, to take Frank's win.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
This is like when I make Kelsey do paperwork for the foundation. This is great.
Exactly.
I love it.
So this is the part of the show where we recommend things that we are into to spread that joy and awareness to our audience, or also plug things that we happen to be working on if we are so inclined to do that as well.
Is this just my opportunity to like say all the things that Frank isn't allowed to say normally? Like,
Absolutely, yes.
okay. All right. So, yeah, you guys should follow the Video Game History Foundation. We do some pretty cool stuff. We also have a podcast. It's called the Game History Hour. It's about an hour every week of us talking to some expert people about some cool history, and you should listen to it. You should give us money, too. We are a 501c3 nonprofit, so you can just give us money through our website directly. You can also buy blind box magazines, which are like a whole ecosystem we've devised wonderfully, where basically you can either buy magazines or give us magazines, and all of it preserves history, because if we don't already have the magazine, it goes into our archive. If it's not scanned already, it goes to a scanning group, and we use it to pay for more preservation stuff, including our own, but also including things like paying off RetroMag server costs for the year.
I think I actually did recommend the podcast last
Yeah, he's
week.
allowed to say that one.
Okay, all right.
I don't have a lot this week because I don't know. I was watching my usual amount of movies and listening to my usual amount of music, but I just didn't get a whole lot of good ones in there that I feel like you should listen to. However, I have one thing, which is that I think you should listen to, or rather watch the video for the song Loretta by the artist Ginger Root, because it's got this really good vibe where they kind of clone themselves to be all the members of a band, but it's very 70s bandstand Japanese live TV music video style. It just works super well. The music and the video work so well together, and it's just I've actually watched it like 5 times because it's very pleasant to watch. It's like a Tatsuro Yamashita sort of vibe to it. The conceit of this EP that they're making is that they've been hired to remake to do the English versions of opening themes for Japanese drama in the 80s. You feel that vibe when you watch it, and it's real good. So give it a look.
So bad at this. I just kind of like work and watch whatever like the show is right now. So Loki's real good. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that anyone listening that wouldn't already watch that needs to hear that from someone, but
Right.
there it is. Sweet Tooth on Netflix actually
Sweet
is really good too.
Tooth.
Yeah, Sweet Tooth.
Yeah.
Is great. Another one of them comic book shows. Not a superhero show.
No.
Comic book. Sorry, a graphic novel show. Is
We
We
Sweet
can
Tooth,
say
not
comic book.
It's a graphic novel.
Mom.
We're not precious about it.
I'm always just really late to things, so I just finished watching the whole first season of One Punch Man, and I was like, oh yeah,
Ooh.
that's why people
That
like
first
this.
season
Okay,
is
that's
great.
good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I love that first season.
Is the second season really that bad? I'm only like an episode in.
In the second season, it becomes like an anime.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. It basically turns into the thing it's making fun of because the initial
Okay.
premise is unsustainable.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't even really fault it for that, honestly. I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't seem sustainable.
That's the only place it could have gone.
I kind of have a weird recommendation actually.
Oh,
that
yeah, go for
I'm
it.
going to append onto this because you're talking about anime. My wife and I have been watching Dragon Ball once a day,
Ooh.
pretty much
Mm.
for this entire year. I'm not. Dragon Ball's fine. Yeah, go watch Dragon Ball, whatever. But my recommendation is look up things like fan edits and fan restorations before you commit to something, because all that Dragon Ball stuff, the best versions are like fan edits that squash together all the best sources of things and like, you know, add English subtitles to like superior prints that were only on like super limited Japanese only DVDs. So look that up. You get a better experience, and probably going to be free too.
Well, thanks to Miami Mike.
That's a really good recipe for me not watching anything ever. Is if I have to do a whole bunch of work first.
Whole bunch of work, you search, and then it's like the third result,
Yeah.
and then they usually just link to the nerd torrent site
One torrent altogether. If that's all it is, I guess it's okay. I
for
thought you were
Dragon
like,
Ball. Yeah, oh yeah.
each
Yeah.
episode I need to search and see which is the good fan edit.
No,
Yeah, I feel like
Okay.
it has to be a big series like
Yeah.
that for it to shake out that way, right?
like we're getting close to the end of Dragon Ball, so I was like, well, I guess should get Dragon Ball Z and finish downloading those nearly a terabyte of that, but got it now.
I think everyone should just read the manga instead.
Ah,
Boom.
fast.
I can't read right to left, but I do have some recommendations. I would like to recommend that if you're listening to this show on any platform where you can subscribe to or review podcasts, that you engage with us in that way to keep the algorithms pushing us upwards and forwards. You can also go to patreon.com/insertcredit, where you could become a patron to submit your own questions, get our regular episodes 1 day early.
How many days early is that?
That's 1 day early.
Oh, okay.
And even access monthly bonus episodes and other exclusive content. You can join us on forums.insertcredit.com and follow us on Twitter for our own personal updates and projects. The show is at Insert Credit. I'm at Alex Jaffe. Frank is at Frank Cifaldi. Brandon is at NecroSofty. And what's yours?
It's Kelsey Lewin, KELSLEWIN.
Thank you. I forgot to look that up. This show is produced by Esper Quinn with music by Kurt Feldman. Once more, I'm Alex Jaffe.
I'm Frank Cifaldi.
I'm Brandon Sheffield.
And I'm Kelsey Lewin.
And your game has now been saved.
Game over, yeah!
We didn't get to talk about our favorite Wonderswan games, though, really.
We can do it right now.
We sort of did, because I said my favorite, which is Rhyme Rider Kararikon.
Yeah.
We both like Tanio Makutori, which is also really
Yeah.
good.
I really liked Rhyme Rider Kararikon.
You did an article on it, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, I did. It's not great to play.
I like the game, but it's not great to
Well,
play.